Okay. And perfect. Okay. Is everyone seeing my screen with Egypt? Okay. Um, so Egypt, this 2026 trip is going to be May 5th through 12th. This is our fourth time going to Egypt. We last went in October of 2024. We didn't make it there this 2025 year, but we're excited to be going back in 2026. It is a spectacular country. So a little bit of an overview of the itinerary. So you will arrive to Cairo. Then we spend the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, so 4 nights in Cairo. We're gonna see the pyramids of Giza and the necropolis of Saqqara, so all of the most famous monuments. We'll do a tour of Old Cairo as well as a river cruise along the Nile. We'll have a day focused on the culture and cuisine of Egypt with a cooking class. Then the 9th and 10th, we will stay overnight in Luxor, which is further south along the Nile River. This is where the Valley of the Kings is, and some of the really famous temples. So we will have 2 nights in Luxor, followed by returning to Cairo for a little bit of free time, a really awesome farewell dinner with great views out over the city, and then departures from Cairo. There is an optional extension to Jordan currently. So if you wanted to combine Egypt and Jordan in order to see Petra and Wadi Rum, that would be possible. The extension will be May 12th through 15th. And I'll go over what's included in that a little bit later, but I just wanted to share that that is an option. Otherwise, you would depart back to the US or wherever you're flying to next from Cairo on May 12th. So some highlights. This was the group in 2024. Obviously, you have the Sphinx, which is super famous. We get the chance to go up. There's a really great spot where you can actually look like you're kissing the monument if you take the photo at the right angle. We have a guide with us the entire time. She is awesome. She is a local Egyptian woman who is also a certified guide and trained in the archaeology and history of Egypt. So it's actually really hard to become a guide in Egypt. The national government there really tightly monitors who is able to give guided tours because they want to make sure that the people are extremely knowledgeable about the history and culture and archaeology and everything that makes Egypt so famous. So I particularly love that we have the option to work with a female guide because I think that in addition to the history and archaeology, she can tell you a lot about also the modern culture and what it's like to be a woman in modern day Egypt as well. So she travels with us the entire time, and she gives us all of the guided tours at Giza as well as in Cairo and in Luxor. We enjoy Giza. We get to go and ride camels up to the pyramids. We also get to go in the pyramids. There are several pyramids that you can sort of climb up and go inside and see portions of. So we spend a whole day in Giza. Giza is about, well, on good traffic days, 45 minutes, on bad traffic days, an hour and a half outside of where we're staying in the heart of Old Cairo. But we, leave in the early morning. We'll have lunch out by the pyramids, and then we'll come back to Cairo for dinner that evening. Then we have 2 days exploring more of both historic and modern Cairo. So we go and see these really incredible mosques. You have the chance to go inside, see really some of the beautiful architecture. We go to a place in the city where you can go on the roof and see all out over the entire city, all of the different minarets from different mosques, and just see sort of the way that Old Cairo has grown into a very modern, booming metropolis. We also have plenty of time to shop in the souks. It is a great chance to, buy some souvenirs, maybe some things to decorate your home. And we also do the cooking class, which is going to be a new experience for 2026, but we're super excited about it. It'll be the chance to go and make a meal, a traditional Egyptian meal with a local family. You'll go into their home. They will explain the different meals that we're going to be making or different foods that we'll be making, and then you'll sort of break bread and share that meal with them. So that will be at lunch, and then you'd have free time and shopping in the afternoon. We also, while in Cairo, visit the Grand Egyptian Museum, which was recently refurbished and opened. It's now the largest number of sort of ancient Egyptian artifacts, many of which have been returned. They were in the US and Europe and other places where, major museums took them, and have now sort of repatriated them to Egypt, which is really special. And we go on sort of a private guided tour of that museum in Cairo, and that gives us a chance to see a lot of the artifacts and things that have been sort of saved from the different pyramids and other areas of Egypt. And then finally, my favorite thing is that we go to a special restaurant that has this incredible view out over the pyramids lit up at night. It's always one of the highlights. And it's just a chance to see the pyramids from another time of day when they're all lit up. So really, there's a ton to do in Cairo. It's a packed schedule, but it's a great way to see both the ancient parts of the city and the archaeology, as well as the modern parts of life in Egypt today. Then when we fly to Luxor, we visit the temples of Karnak and Luxor, as well as the Valley of the Kings. There's two sides to Luxor. There's the east bank and the west bank of the Nile River. We stay at a hotel right on the Nile. It's really beautiful. Some of the best sunsets. There's also the option to do a hot air balloon ride one morning at sunrise. If that's something that folks want, we can always organize that. And overall, we spend a lot of time seeing the different monuments, and again, just a lot of history, archaeology that our guide shares with us. And then from Luxor, we fly back to Cairo, have that farewell dinner, and then depart onwards. For the folks going to the post-trip extension in Jordan, we would fly early morning on May 12th to Amman, Jordan, which is the capital city. And then our driver would greet us and take us to Wadi Rum, which is this incredible place you see here. Wadi Rum is the place that a lot of Lawrence of Arabia was filmed. It's just really huge sandstone cliffs, and then this incredible desert. We will glamp in Wadi Rum for a night. So you'll have the chance to see the sunset, stargaze, ride a camel, and then wake up for sunrise. From Wadi Rum, we go to none other than Petra. And we'll get to Petra in the late afternoon, have the chance to tour the ruins of Petra with a guide in the afternoon. And then what I think is the most special is wake up early the next morning and go to Petra right when it opens to watch sunrise. The sun, because Petra is, again, in these sandstone cliffs, carved out of these cliffs, the sun, it takes a while for it to fully reach. And so we walk in, when it's still kind of dark with our guide, and then we get to watch the sunrise and illuminate the city at sunrise, which is really, really incredible. And then from there, we drive a little bit further north to the Dead Sea. We'll have lunch at the Dead Sea. You'll have the chance, if you want to get in the water and float. It is the lowest point on Earth and also the saltiest body of water. And so you can literally go in and you'll be buoyed up completely, just floating on the surface of it. You don't have to get in if you don't want to. It can be really itchy, that concentration of salt. But it's still fun to see, and it's a very beautiful landscape. And then from the Dead Sea, we head back to a final night in Amman, and then fly out from there on May 15th. So the main trip is 7 nights, 8 days in Egypt, and then the post-trip extension is 3 nights, 4 days in Jordan. a few common questions, and then I will open it up for any of your questions. Weather this time of year, it's very pleasant. It's the 60s, low 60s, high 80s. And we always recommend bringing some layers, but overall, very comfortable, pleasant weather. Not expecting much rain, lots of sun. The activity level for this trip is moderate. Oh, I don't know why I kept safaris in there. You can ignore that. But there is walking tours of Cairo, Luxor, Giza, etc. And the overall, you can expect sort of 3 to 4 miles of walking total in a day, but with lots of breaks and time to stop and rest in between. Otherwise, being comfortable doing stairs, walking on some uneven surfaces, dirt, cobblestone, etc. All of that is important just because it is a place that doesn't have, as many elevators, etc. It's a very old country with old infrastructure. There is a visa. We actually get this visa for you, and it is included in the cost of the trip. And we arrange for this with our tour guide. So there's nothing that you have to do. We will ask for your passport information prior to or when you register for the trip, just so that we can make sure that we get you this visa. Then the trip price for the Egypt 7-night, 8-day trip is $5,695 with our early bird sale. So that's $300 off this right now. And then the Jordan extension is $2,995 if you want to extend the trip for that extra 4 days. So I will pause here and answer any other questions that folks might have.
My concern is attire. It's a Muslim country, so
Yeah.
we should be covered.
So you should wear loose fitting clothes that cover your shoulders and your knees. So capris, totally good. Long, flowy skirts, all good. Honestly, you can wear tank tops. Egypt is kind of it's kind of a funny country because you'll see like the gamut, right? You'll see women in mini skirts and high heels and tube tops. And then you'll see women wearing, a hijab and an abaya dress with like nothing showing at all. There are so many tourists in Egypt that there's no expectation that you, as a tourist, dress a certain way. And my recommendation, just for comfort blending in as a woman, is keeping your shoulders and your knees covered. But other than that, you'll never actually need to cover your hair or anything like that. Even when we go in mosques, I guess that'd be the only time. There's one mosque that we enter into where they'll give you a little, if you don't have a scarf with you, they'll give you a little scarf to just loosely drape around your head and cover your hair. But other than that, there's nothing else where you'd need to cover your hair.
I'd like to ask about the early bird.
Yeah.
How long is that available till?
So since we just launched the trip last month, we're running it for a month. So it'll be through June 15th. So 2 more weeks. And then the trip price will go back to its regular price, which is 5,995. So 5,995.
Thank you.
Other questions from folks?
I'm also interested in the Japan trip. So
Awesome.
will you have a Zoom deal on that coming up?
Yes, we will. I'll send it to you. We'll have that call probably at the end of June. We're scheduling them sort of 2 weeks at a time.
Uh-huh. So by then I should have decided whether I want Egypt or not, if I want to get the reduction.
Yeah, and if I'll send you an email after this, since you're a repeat traveler, I'm happy to hold that and extend it if you want to wait and do the Japan call first.
Mhm. Okay, thank you.
Yep. Questions from other folks?
Will we have a guide if we do the extension? Will we have a guide also for the extension?
Yes, there will be a guide slash driver who's with you that whole time for the extension. And we for those who you have already been on a WTA trip, you know that you have a trip host. For the extension, it is possible there won't be a host, just depends on the number of ladies who decide to do the extension. But you will definitely have a local guide and driver with you the whole time.
How many are interested already in Egypt?
So
Besides
we
what we see
have
here?
3 ladies signed up already, and no one has signed up for the extension yet, but I know folks are still sort of considering it. That is something where you don't have to decide when you sign up for Egypt. If you decide later you want to do the extension, there's still some time to decide about that. But there are 3 ladies signed up for Egypt so far.
So you can sign up just for the early bird and do the extension later.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Does that price include, I guess, wherever we start from? We have to get airfare from somewhere else, or how does that work?
Yes, that price doesn't include international airfare since folks are
Okay.
traveling from all over the US and Canada sometimes. Airfare is separate. That price
Okay.
includes all of your hotels, which are 4 to 5 star, really beautiful hotels. It's in single occupancy, so you get your own private room. You don't have to share with anybody or pay extra to get your own private room. That also includes breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. And it includes all of your guiding, your transportation, activities, entrance to all those monuments and museums, and tips. So pretty much my experience with our trips in Egypt is once you arrive, unless you're buying a souvenir or you're buying alcohol with your dinner, there's no reason that you'd need to pay for everything. Everything is included in that price. And the internal flights as well from Cairo to Luxor and Luxor back to Cairo is included in that price. The only thing not included would be international airfare, travel insurance, and alcohol and personal spending money.
Okay. And then I guess somewhere, does it tell where you're supposed to fly into?
Yeah, so you'll fly into Cairo International Airport. There's
Okay.
one really big airport. And once you book, what we do is we will send you an email with sort of more information on how to book. I'm always happy to look at sort of flights and give you recommendations on how exactly to travel from wherever you are based to Egypt. Once you land in the airport in Egypt, we have a driver who will come and will pick you up. They will meet you, just in the arrivals hall. You'll go through customs, get your bag, meet your driver, and the driver will take you to the hotel. And then likewise, on the departure day, you will have a transfer from the hotel to the airport, arranged at usually about 3 hours in advance of your international flight. So you just need to get yourself to the airport, and the rest of that is arranged.
Okay. And then if you did have, like, if myself and another friend were coming, would we be able to share a room, or
Yes,
maybe
you
I
can
don't want
absolutely do
to?
that. If you want to share a room,
Okay.
you can elect to do so, and we can often give like a small discount for sharing a room.
Okay.
It's just normally most people
Yeah.
come solo, so we quote it in single occupancy.
Okay.
How is the
Um,
food? Is there some American food that we'll be able to eat?
Yes, there's a lot of different international cuisines in Egypt. We will eat, a mix of American, international. There's a really good Italian restaurant we often eat at that's in one of the major hotels. And so there's a pretty good wide variety of foods, and there's pretty much always like pasta, hamburgers, chicken, etc., things that are not too exotic that you can find in Egypt.
I'm fussy, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
When it comes
Um,
to my stomach.
that's fair. Yeah, plain, luckily, like plain, we're not making you don't have to eat crickets or
Oh, no, couldn't do
anything
it.
like
Oh,
that.
couldn't do it.
Will the menus be in English?
Yeah, so all the restaurants we eat at are very used to catering to tourists, so they
Okay.
can give you English menus. The only time, like for our cooking class, that's the time where sort of we'll have typically we'll make like a rice, lentil, and chicken dish. And then some vegetable dips that that are common across the Middle East, I think is the menu for that day. And obviously, if there are dietary restrictions or anything, we can cater to that. And we'll have our guide with us that day, and she'll kind of act as the translator because the family who runs the cooking classes speaks some English, but not a ton of English. But otherwise, like all of the restaurants we're at have waiters that speak English.
Okay.
I was sorry, I was late, but does this trip go to Abu Simbel? Because I've
It
heard
does
you have to.
not.
Oh,
It goes to Cairo and to Luxor. So Abu Simbel it's a really incredible place, but it's pretty remote and hard to get to.
okay.
And so that is not part of the main itinerary. I'm always happy and I can connect offline via email with you or something if you want ever to do like a post-trip extension instead of going to Jordan if you wanted to go to Abu Simbel, or for instance, there's really beautiful places in the Sinai Peninsula that you can go to the
Oh.
beach and see the Red Sea, etc. So those are all
Is
things.
that Hurghada
Sorry?
or Hurghada or
Yeah, that
yeah.
that area, and I'm blanking on the name of the other town that's out on
Yeah,
the
I know
peninsula,
the
but
one you're thinking of. Yeah.
if you're interested in snorkeling or scuba diving, those are all things that can sort of be arranged after the main itinerary. If you wanted to stay in Egypt for longer, we could help arrange some of that.
And is there a Nile cruise on this trip?
We have a evening cruise, so it's about a 3-hour cruise on the Nile from Cairo. We're not doing like a multi-night overnight cruise on the Nile as part of this, but you do have a Nile, sort of a day Nile cruise where you can see the city of Cairo from the water, and we'll have a meal on the boat, and it's called a felucca, which is like the traditional wooden boats that they sail in Egypt.
And does it go to Alexandria?
Yeah, so that's actually one thing which I didn't include in the itinerary slides, but it's a good point. So we find most women, especially if you're coming from the US, you end up flying in super early. And so depending on your flight, if you want to arrive a day early, or even like 2 days early, that can be arranged. And then we can do a day trip to Alexandria. So last year, the way it worked, everybody actually got in a day early. And then on that first day, so in the case of this trip, May 5th, we would take the train with our guide up to Alexandria and do the history up there, see what's left of the library, and sort of walk around, see the coast, etc. So that would be something that's optional. If you had a flight that arrived later on the 5th, that would also be fine. But we find that most people's flights do land sometime sort of overnight, like 11 p.m. on the 4th to like 2 a.m. on the 5th, is when we'd expect most people to get in. So you could sort of sleep in that morning and then go up and take a day trip to Alexandria.
Okay.
Awesome. Any other questions?
Nope.
I had one and I forgot it.
Maybe one. Am
yeah.
I the only repeater?
No, Denise, who's on this call, she went to the Galapagos with us. So no, and we have
I know.
3 of the ladies who are, or sorry, 2 of the 3 ladies who are signed up for the trip are also repeat WTA travelers. So it'll be a good mix of like new travelers and some repeat folks as well.
Well, I'm
Is there
very
a minimum,
impressed with
is there a minimum
WTA.
amount of people that need to book in order for this trip to still make?
4 is the minimum for all of our trips, so I'm not concerned about hitting that minimum. So we're already very close to that, and I suspect 10 will be the maximum. So I think we'll end up probably somewhere between 6 and 10 ladies going on the trip.
So the max, the group is only 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
And did you say you've been to Egypt?
I have, yeah. I prior to to running Women Travel Abroad. I lived in Morocco for 3 years, and I had the chance to travel to Egypt while I was living in Morocco, and it's incredible. It's a really, really cool country. I would love the opportunity to go back and see more of it, but it is a really incredible country, and I felt very safe there. Similarly, I went with a group of friends, and we had a guide, and I think overall one of the questions we often get is like, is it safe to go to Egypt? And my overall opinion is, as long as you use common sense, it is very safe. And I think we try very hard. You have a guide, you have drivers, everything is arranged. You're never put out on your own having to figure out how to navigate anything. And so, the way we have it arranged, we feel very confident that it's a very safe country to visit, and a place that you can really enjoy learning about a culture that is obviously very different, but is also very rich and warm, and the people are incredibly excited to welcome travelers.
And then is this the Women Travel Abroad? And then there was another meetup I joined that was Women Travel Abroad, but it said St. Louis. Is that the same?
Yes, it's the same
Okay.
organization. So we have
Okay.
the way Meetup works, like you have to have a specific location. So we have chapters. We have 33 chapters on Meetup
Okay.
across the US, and we have women join us from all over the US and Canada. So you might have women joining you from St. Louis. You might have women joining you from, Denise is in Texas. Penelope, I can't remember off the top of my head where you're from.
DFW.
So yeah, all over the place.
Okay. So that I signed up for this presentation tomorrow, it's gonna be the same thing, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. For some reason, it got scheduled on 2 different dates. I apologize about that. But for the folks who are signed up for it tomorrow, you don't need to come. It'll be the same presentation.
Okay.
I'll send out the recording to everybody as well, and then I'll send a link to the trip page. If you haven't registered for one of our trips before, the way you do it is on our website. So there's a Egypt trip page. You can see the full itinerary and all of the inclusions, etc. there. And then there's a book now button. You click that, that'll take you to a registration form. And then you will fill out the registration form. And that'll generate an invoice, which you'll receive by email, and you can pay the deposit. We have a $400 deposit for our trips, and then you make monthly installment payments, with the balance being due 90 days prior to travel. So February of 2026, in the case of Egypt, is when the balance of the trip would be due. We recommend booking flights, 4 to 6 months in advance, and you get a bunch of other communication from us once you're booked on the trip. The final thing that I will say is we do a 90-day pre-trip call and a 30-day pre-trip call. So you get the chance to get to know the ladies that you're traveling with and your host virtually before you actually arrive on the ground. That way, you at least know their faces and names, and you're not showing up to total strangers.
Okay.
You know who the host will be for Egypt?
Yeah, Yolima, who is awesome. She's one of our very most experienced hosts. So she'll be hosting Egypt. She has done the trip once before. I think in 2023 she hosted it, but she's really excited to go back. That she called me the other day and she was like, that's the trip I most want to host. So you'll be in really good hands. She's a great host.
And if for some reason you needed to cancel, not that I would hope that would, but
so our the deposit is non-refundable.
okay.
The rest of the payments are refundable until 6 months prior to travel, which is when we start, paying for hotels and having to lock everything in,
Okay.
internal flights, etc. If you cancel within the 6-month mark, that's why we highly recommend travel insurance. We always can provide the documentation necessary to fill out a travel insurance reimbursement form if, a health or family or work thing comes up that would prevent you from traveling.
Okay.
So, perfect. Well, I hope everyone has a great rest of their evening. Like I said, since I'm doing this call 2 nights in a row. Expect an email from me probably tomorrow evening with a recording as well as the link to the trip, but I'll just put it in the chat if you want to learn more or immediately sign up. You're more than welcome to. This is the link.
Are you also doing Greece tomorrow night?
Yes, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have calls pretty much every night this week for different trips, and they're all similar, and I always record them, so feel free. You can always RSVP, and if you can't make it live, you'll get the recording within 24 hours. But that's the link to the trip, has the itinerary and lots of the information we covered tonight. My email I will put in here as well. You can expect an email from me in the next few days, but if you want to talk sooner than that, feel free to reach out.
I am so excited.
Awesome. Well,
Can I ask one
Yeah.
quick question? Of all the places you've been to, what's your favorite?
Well, Morocco is always gonna be my favorite just because I got the chance to live there and it's very near and dear to my heart. But other than that, I would say Oman is another country in the Middle East I'm a big fan of. Egypt is really cool, but I don't know, Oman was very unique. And then Malaysia is another country that I really, really loved. I'm a big foodie. And so I really love Southeast Asia in general for all the different food and like street food that you get to eat.
I
Nice.
saw that Morocco is already sold out.
It is, yes. It was very popular, and so we did sell that one out for next year, but we tend to host it every year. So maybe Egypt 2025 and or 2026, Denise, and you can do Morocco in 2027. Perfect. Well, I wish everybody a great rest of your night. Please stay in touch if you have any questions. And I will look forward to hopefully seeing others of you on future calls and maybe trips.
Thank you.
Thanks, Catherine.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a good
Bye.
night.
See you
Bye.
tomorrow.
Bye.
See you tomorrow.